Welcome to the deep dive. You're here because you're looking to get informed efficiently and effectively, and that's exactly what we're all about. Today, we're really laser focused on providing, well, a curated pathway for Chinese international students aiming to launch their careers right here in the United States.
hmm
Think of this not just as a guide, but maybe as your personal in-depth exploration of the essential strategies. It's all drawn from a really comprehensive resource provided by the New World Education Center, dated today, May 19th, 2025. We're going to take our time, really unpack this.
Precisely. And it's a very detailed, very timely document we have here. It's essentially a complete roadmap designed to sort of demystify the complexities of getting a job in the U.S. as an international student,
Yeah.
which can feel pretty overwhelming.
Right.
Our goal in this deep dive isn't just to summarize it. I mean, anyone can skim a document, right?
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to methodically delve into each crucial stage, pull out those actionable insights, and hopefully shed light on some things you might not have thought about before. We want to provide a truly thorough understanding.
Absolutely. We're going to take a very deliberate, very comprehensive approach, moving step by logical step through this whole process. We'll kick things off by looking at how your initial academic choices can strategically set the stage for your future career.
hmm
This isn't just, oh, what major sounds interesting. It's about making informed decisions with those long-term goals really in mind.
Yeah.
From there, we'll navigate the, well, sometimes intricate landscape of U.S. immigration rules, focusing specifically on what's most relevant for you if you're seeking employment. This part can cause a lot of anxiety, honestly, so we really aim to provide some clarity, demystify it a bit.
Okay.
After that, we'll meticulously map out a strategic timeline for your job search, making sure you know what to focus on and, importantly, when.
Right. The timing is key.
Definitely. Then we'll dig into the absolute necessity of effective networking, looking not just at what to do, but how to build real, meaningful connections.
Special.
We'll also explore different ways to secure those critically important internships, understanding the different types and how to boost your chances. And finally, we'll equip you with the essential mindset and interview skills you need to really shine when those opportunities come knocking. So whether you're just starting your academic journey or you're, getting close to graduation, our aim isn't just information dump. It's genuine clarity and a structured, engaging understanding that leaves you feeling, well, empowered and in control. We want to ensure you never feel overwhelmed by just the sheer amount of information out there.
And for you, the learner, this deep dive is specifically designed to cut through that feeling of information overload. Get it. Navigating this can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose, right?
Total.
Our role here is to be your guides, basically. Carefully extracting the most vital info from this guide and connecting the dots in a way that's logical and directly relevant to your situation and your time. We'll try to strike that balance between, concise summaries and highlighting those memorable details and real-world considerations that will really cement your understanding and help you take effective action.
Okay, let's dive in then.
Okay.
Starting with that foundational piece, professional choice and planning. This initial stage, as the New World Education Center's guide lays out so well, is just fundamental. It lays the groundwork for everything else. It's about being intentional right from the start, strategically picking your major with a really clear eye on your future career goal.
Yeah, it's not just about what you like now.
Exactly. It's about thoughtfully aligning your studies with the realities and the potential of the job market you'll eventually enter.
Yeah.
Requires a bit of foresight, doesn't it?
It really does. And what jumps out immediately from the guide is its focus on specific in-demand majors. This isn't just general advice. It's a targeted list reflecting current U.S. job market needs. The guide specifically calls out computer science, data science, AI, business analytics, financial engineering, electrical engineering, biomedical engineering, and nursing.
That's quite a list.
It is. And it's crucial to understand why these fields are hot right now. It's not arbitrary. For instance, tech is just relentlessly advancing. So there's this huge ongoing need for people in CS, data science, AI. These aren't just trendy now. Their growth looks set to continue.
Makes sense.
Similarly, think about the global economy. It's complex, interconnected. That drives demand for people in business analytics, financial engineering, folks who can analyze data, navigate finance. And then you've got electrical and biomedical engineering, still absolute vital for infrastructure innovation, especially in healthcare.
Yeah.
And nursing, consistent, significant demand. Aging population, ongoing healthcare needs, it's always there.
Yeah.
So the focus on these isn't just about today's job openings. It reflects these bigger economic and societal trends shaping the future.
That's a great breakdown. Now, the guide also spends a good amount of time on a really pivotal choice for many students, bachelor's versus master's degree.
A big one.
Let's really unpack the pros for each path, starting with the bachelor's. The guide rightly points out, lower cost, shorter time commitment. Those are huge factors for international students and families.
Absolutely. Finances are key.
And it notes that a bachelor's is often perfectly fine for entry-level jobs in many industries. Lets you get that foot in the door, start building experience, and maybe something less obvious but really important long-term. A bachelor's gives you more time. More time to immerse yourself in U.S. culture, adapt, and crucially build a network earlier on.
Yeah.
That extra time for cultural adjustment and networking, it can be invaluable later.
That emphasis on cultural adaptation and networking during a bachelor's is a really insightful point. It's not just about the classes.
Right.
Having that extra time to really understand American professional culture, build genuine connections with people, that creates a much stronger foundation. But on the flip side, the guide clearly lays out the advantages of a master's.
Okay.
Here, the focus shifts, right?
Yeah.
It's about getting deeper, more specialized skills and knowledge in your field. And that advanced skill set often translates directly into higher starting salaries, better long-term earning potential.
Right. The payoff.
Plus, a master's can seriously boost your competitiveness in the job market. Makes you a stronger candidate for more advanced specialized roles. And, as the guide mentions, master's programs often give you better, more direct access to high-quality internships, which, as we'll discuss, are absolutely critical stepping stones to full-time jobs. Those master's-level internships often carry more weight, offer deeper experience.
So it really presents a significant trade-off, doesn't it? Bachelor's, lower cost, quicker entry, more cultural immersion time.
Yeah.
Master's, deeper skills, potentially higher pay, maybe better internships, stronger competitiveness later.
Exactly.
It really hammers home that there's no single right answer. It totally depends on your finances, your career goals, how much time you can invest, even just your personal comfort level with adapting.
Precisely. No one-size-fits-all. And following that comparison, the guide gives some really crucial things to keep in mind when you're actually picking your major. First, and maybe the most obvious, is aligning your personal interests with market demands.
Right. The sweet spot.
Ideally, you want something that genuinely interests you because that motivation makes studying easier, more fulfilling, leads to better results, frankly.
You got to enjoy it somewhat.
But also a field that demonstrably offers strong, sustainable career prospects. Now and in the future, that combination of passion and market opportunity, that's powerful, leads to a rewarding and successful career.
Absolutely. And then the guide brings up something critically important for international students. OPT STEM extension eligibility.
Oh yeah, hugely important.
Okay, so for anyone less familiar, OPT, optional practical training, is that period of temporary work related to your studies after you graduate on an F1 visa. Standard OPT is usually 12 months. But if you graduate from a program in certain science, technology, engineering, or math fields, STEM, you can get a big 24-month extension.
Right. That's 3 years total.
Exactly. Up to 3 years of potential work authorization post-graduation. That is an exceptionally valuable benefit. Gives you way more time to get U.S. work experience, build your resume, and maybe figure out longer-term visa options. The STEM extension availability can be a massive factor in your long-term U.S. career path.
And what's really noteworthy there is that direct link. Your initial choice, your major, directly impacts your potential career length in the U.S.
Yeah.
That OPT STEM extension can truly be a game changer. It gives you a much longer runway, 2 extra years, to get established, prove yourself, and maybe navigate the H-1B process or other options later. The guide rightly emphasizes how significant this STEM eligibility is when you're choosing your major. It's not just about the first job, it's about your potential future here.
The guide also touches thoughtfully on the connection between your chosen field and potential immigration challenges. Now, it wisely avoids saying, this major is easy for visas, this one's hard. Immigration is complex, it changes, and broad statements can be misleading.
Good point. It's fluid.
But the underlying point is crucial. Some fields might just have more international workers seeking sponsorship, which could indirectly make things more competitive in those sectors. It's not about predicting visa odds, but just being aware of the overall ecosystem as you research and decide on your major and career path.
That's a really nuanced but important thing to keep in mind. The guide is responsible here, not making specific predictions.
Right.
But it encourages you to consider this broader factor as part of your overall decision-making.
It's about having that awareness of the potential landscape without making, potentially wrong assumptions. That holistic view is invaluable.
And finally, in this crucial first section on choosing your path, the guide points you to a really valuable ongoing resource: the high demand occupation list from the U.S. Department of Labor.
Ah, yes, essential.
Absolutely essential. You should bookmark this, check it regularly throughout your studies. These lists give you real-time insights into which sectors and roles have the biggest need for skilled workers in the U.S. economy. This up-to-date info can really help you fine-tune your academic and career plans, aligning your choices with where the demand actually is. Staying informed gives you a real edge.
That's absolutely excellent advice. Those Department of Labor lists are dynamic, invaluable. They show you where the demand is. It's a fantastic tool for staying informed about the shifting job market and making strategic decisions about your studies and long-term career. Regularly checking those is a proactive step everyone should take.
Okay, let's shift gears now to something really critical, specifically for international students wanting to work here: identity planning and understanding.
Right. Navigating the system.
Exactly. This part of the New World Education Center's guide dives into the often complex world of U.S. immigration regulations, which, let's be honest, can feel like a whole course in itself sometimes.
Definitely.
But getting a solid handle on the key parts is absolutely essential for navigating your job search and post-graduation plans. Without this foundation, you could hit some major roadblocks.
Absolutely. And the guide wisely starts with the bedrock, your F1 student status. Within that status, it highlights two super important concepts for getting work experience: CPT and OPT.
Okay.
Let's break those down. CPT is curricular practical training. It's basically work experience on or off campus that's formally part of your established curriculum.
Ah, so tied into the degree.
Exactly. The key thing, as the guide stresses, is it must be directly related to your major. Think of CPT as applying classroom knowledge in a real work setting, often required or highly recommended for certain practical-focused programs.
Right, that makes sense. CPT is the bridge between theory and practice during your studies. Then we get to OPT, optional practical training. This is probably what most people think of for post-graduation work. The guide defines OPT as temporary employment directly related to your field of study, typically after you finish your degree. Standard duration, 12 months. But, as we keep saying, because it's so important for STEM grads, there's that potential 24-month extension, bringing the total up to 36 months of potential work authorization after you graduate, which, again, is incredibly valuable.
And it's really worth hammering home just how significant that STEM OPT extension is.
Yeah.
It gives you a much, much longer window, 2 whole extra years, to get that vital U.S. work experience, build a stronger resume, and potentially figure out longer-term visas like the H-1B down the road.
Yeah.
It seriously boosts your long-term prospects here.
The guide also gives a quick but important overview of getting an SSN Social Security number.
Need that to work.
Exactly. Crucial step once you land a job or internship offer. The guide says you'll typically start the SSN application process through your university's International Student Office after you get that official offer. The SSN is your unique ID for working legally in the U.S., fundamental for employment, taxes, all that stuff.
And what's important to grasp about the SSN process is you generally need that actual job or internship offer first. You can't just get one based on being a student.
Right.
It's tied directly to your work authorization. So a confirmed job or internship is usually the trigger to start the SSN application via your school's international office.
Okay, moving beyond the F1 status specifics, the guide gets into the H-1B visa. Always a big topic.
The big one for many, yeah.
It's widely known as the main employer-sponsored visa for skilled workers in specialized jobs, usually needing a bachelor's degree or higher. The guide defines it accurately. Employer-sponsored, meaning a U.S. company has to formally petition for you. It also points out two critical, often tricky parts: the annual quota, a strict limit on new H-1Bs each year, and the lottery system that's often used because demand consistently swamps the supply. That lottery injects a lot of uncertainty, doesn't it, for everyone involved?
Oh, absolutely. The H-1B cap and lottery are really significant factors you need to be ready for, especially looking beyond OPT.
Yeah.
Because Congress sets that annual limit and demand from employers wanting skilled foreign workers often just blows past it, USCIS frequently runs a random lottery to pick eligible petitions.
Right.
That inherent uncertainty is exactly why the guide wisely advises you to find out early on in your job search if a potential employer actually sponsors H-1Bs. Do they have a history of it?
Are they willing to consider it for you?
Good point.
Asking about sponsorship policies and track records is crucial for focusing your efforts effectively. Don't waste time on companies that won't sponsor.
Absolutely. Getting clarity on a company's H-1B stance helps you focus your energy on opportunities that actually align with your long-term goals here. The guide then broadens out, briefly mentioning some other potential immigration paths, alternatives or longer-term options. It touches on the O-1 visa. That's for individuals with extraordinary ability in their field. Think top-tier professionals recognized nationally or internationally.
Yeah, the O1 is prestigious, but it's also a high bar to clear. You need substantial proof of top-level achievement, awards, publications, that kind of thing. The criteria are pretty strict.
Right. Not for everyone. The guide also mentions EB-based immigrant visas. These are employment-based routes that can eventually lead to a green card permanent residency. These usually need a U.S. employer willing to sponsor you for permanent residency, not just temporary work. The specifics vary a lot depending on the visa category and your qualifications.
EB visas are that pathway to permanent residency through work. Eligibility, quotas, processing times, they differ quite a bit by category, like EB1 for extraordinary ability, EB2 for advanced degrees, EB3 for skilled workers, etc. It's a longer-term strategy, needs commitment from both you and the employer.
Then there's the L1 visa for intercompany transferees. This one's relevant if you work for a multinational company with offices in your home country and the U.S. And your company wants to move you to a U.S. role, maybe managerial, executive, or someone with specialized knowledge. The L1 makes that transfer easier.
Yeah, the L1 can be really valuable if you're already with a multinational. It streamlines moving employees with special skills or responsibilities to U.S. operations, often avoids H-1B complexities, but you usually need...
Briefly mentions entrepreneurship visas, like the E2, though that's usually only for citizens of specific treaty countries.
Right, not universally available.
And the International Entrepreneur Rule, designed for startup founders who can show serious potential for job creation and have significant investment from qualified U.S. investors. These cater to people with innovative business ideas wanting to launch their own ventures here.
These entrepreneur paths offer avenues for students with startup ideas and the drive to build their own companies in the U.S., contributing to the economy. But again, the requirements are specific, often involving proving significant investment and impact potential.
Okay, so with all this crucial info on immigration rules, the guide wraps up this section with advice that we just cannot stress enough.
What is it?
It emphatically advises everyone to consult directly with qualified, experienced, professional immigration lawyers for any queries about their status, and to diligently stay updated on policy changes.
Absolutely paramount. Cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah. Immigration law is complex, it changes all the time, and mistakes can have huge consequences for your ability to work and stay here legally. Getting expert legal counsel is essential to make sure you're complying, and also exploring the best options for your specific situation and long-term goals. Don't rely on hearsay or old information.
That advice to get guidance from qualified immigration attorneys is just critical. What we're talking about here is a general overview.
Right.
But for personalized, accurate advice tailored to your unique situation and to navigate the often really intricate details, you absolutely need a reputable, experienced immigration lawyer. They have the most up-to-date info, can help you figure out the best path for your goals, and ensure you're doing everything right to maintain status and pursue your career here. It's a critical investment in your future.
Okay, let's move on to a section that provides a much-needed roadmap. The job search timeline and action plan, or NELAROs.
Very helpful.
This part of the guide thoughtfully breaks down what actions and focus areas you should prioritize at different stages of your studies. Super valuable for staying organized, feeling prepared, and avoiding that, oh no, I started too late, feeling.
Yeah, avoids the last-minute panic.
Totally. Having a clear timeline reduces anxiety and makes you more effective.
This structured timeline is an exceptionally valuable tool. It really helps demystify what can feel like this huge, overwhelming process. Breaks it down into clear, manageable steps tied to each stage of your studies from day one to your final year. Let's look at the recommendations for your first year, undergrad or grad, specifically the first semester. The guide highlights the immediate priorities for new students. Number one, just adapting to the U.S. academic environment and culture.
Right, culture shock is real.
It is. And number two, actively working on improving your English proficiency, both academic and professional English. Those two things, academic integration and communication, are absolutely foundational for success, not just in studies, but in your future career here. A weak foundation causes problems later.
Absolutely. Feeling comfortable academically and being able to communicate clearly are paramount. The guide also really emphasizes proactively exploring resources right there on campus, like career centers, student organizations, especially those in your field. Use what's available.
These campus resources can be gold mines, info, support, networking, all tailored for students. And, maybe surprisingly early, the guide suggests starting to build your professional presence by creating your LinkedIn profile.
Wow, first semester.
Yeah. It says it's never too early to start establishing that online identity and making initial connections. Finally, it strongly recommends attending on-campus career lectures, company presentations, things like that. Great way to start learning about industries, employers, potential roles.
What's insightful about that proactive approach, right from semester one, is laying that foundation early. I mean, building a full LinkedIn profile first semester might seem like overkill, but it's about taking first steps, setting up the basics, connecting with peers, faculty, getting familiar with the platform.
Right, just getting started. And attending those early career events, even if you're not job hunting yet, gives you invaluable early exposure to employer expectations, career options, helps you start thinking strategically.
Now, moving into the second semester of your first year, the guide stresses the value of actively joining professional student organizations related to your major.
Good move.
Fantastic way to connect with like-minded people, learn more about your industry, maybe get involved in projects or workshops that boost your resume and give practical experience. It also suggests seeking on-campus part-time jobs just to get initial U.S. work experience, even if it's not directly in your field.
Shows responsibility, right?
Exactly. Responsibility, adaptability, time management, understanding U.S. workplace norms. But here's where the timeline gets really interesting. Often catches students off guard. The guide points out that prep for summer internships starts incredibly early. Applications often open in September or October of the previous year.
Wow, that's early. So fall semester for the next summer.
Precisely. That's a critical piece of info many miss. Missing those early deadlines severely limits your options. And finally, it advises participating in industry conferences, online networking events to broaden connections and understanding.
That super early timeline for summer internships is a massive takeaway.
Definitely.
Many of the most competitive internships, especially at big companies, have very early deadlines. So starting your research and applying in the fall for the following summer is essential to maximize your chances. Waiting till spring puts you way behind.
Then we hit the second and third years for undergrads, or the second year for grad students. Now the push for internships really ramps up.
Prime time.
The guide repeats the need to apply well in advance again. 8 to 10 months prior is often needed for competitive spots. It also strongly recommends attending workshops focused on interview skills, resume writing, cover letters. Honing those skills.
Essential.
Networking is still crucial. The guide highlights connecting with alumni for mentorship, advice, maybe even internal referrals.
Yeah.
Those insider connections can be gold.
Huge advantage, yeah.
And finally, for students in technical fields, preparing for technical interviews or skills assessments relevant to their target roles becomes a key focus.
The intense focus on internships mid-program is spot on. They're often the main gateway to full-time jobs for international students here.
Right.
They give you that practical experience, let you apply what you learned, and crucially, let you show potential employers your skills, work ethic, and cultural fit. And the advice on connecting with alumni, vital. Alumni often genuinely want to help current students following their path. They can offer insights into companies, industries, even jobs not posted publicly. Don't sleep on the alumni network.
Finally, we get to the final year, second semester. Crunch time for undergrads and grads nearing the end.
The home stretch.
Focus naturally shifts to full-time job applications. The guide recommends starting this 6 to 9 months before you expect to graduate.
Better.
Sounds early, maybe, but it aligns with many U.S. company recruitment cycles, especially larger ones with structured hiring. The guide also stresses submitting your OPT application promptly, ideally around 90 days before your official graduation date.
Critical deadline.
Absolutely. Gets your work authorization lined up ASAP after you finish, makes the transition smoother. It also encourages hitting campus recruitment fairs, industry-specific job fairs. Great chances to meet recruiters directly, learn about openings, maybe score initial interviews. And the last piece of advice here is simple but crucial. Apply to a lot of positions. Increase your odds. It's partly a numbers game in a competitive market. Cast a wide net.
That proactive approach, applying for full-time jobs well before graduation, is key. Waiting until after you graduate puts you at a real disadvantage.
Yeah.
Starting months ahead aligns you with hiring cycles, gives you time for the often lengthy application and interview process, and that reminder about the OPT application timeline. Essential. Ensures a seamless transition from student to authorized worker. Missing it causes major headaches.
All right, let's pivot now to something always cited as crucial for career success in the U.S., effective networking.
Ah, yes. Networking. Can't avoid it.
Nope. The New World Education Center's guide dedicates a whole section to building and nurturing connections, and for good reason. You always hear, it's not just what you know, it's who you know. And that definitely holds true in the dynamic, relationship-driven U.S. job market. A strong network opens doors you didn't even know were there.
Absolutely. At its core, networking is about building meaningful professional relationships. And those relationships often lead to opportunities you just won't find on job boards. The guide rightly starts with some key LinkedIn strategies. First, emphasizing how critical a complete professional profile is.
Your digital first impression.
Exactly. Professional photo, clear summary of education, skills, experience, internships, projects included. Think of it as your primary online professional identity. Often the very first look potential employers or contacts get.
Right. It's your dynamic online resume, basically. Needs to look sharp. The guide also encourages proactively expanding your network, intentionally connecting with a diverse range, classmates, professors, alumni in your target fields, professionals that companies are interested in.
Be active.
It's not just creating a profile and sitting back, it's actively reaching out thoughtfully. Beyond connecting, the guide advises regularly sharing relevant industry insights, articles, your own knowledge through posts.
Show engagement.
Yeah, shows you're engaged in your field, knowledgeable, willing to contribute. And finally, it recommends joining relevant industry groups on LinkedIn, engaging in discussions there. Excellent way to connect with others, learn from them, maybe find mentors or opportunities.
What's insightful about these LinkedIn strategies is the emphasis on both building the network and meaningfully engaging with it.
Right, not just collecting names.
Exactly. Just having tons of connections isn't enough. You need to cultivate them by sharing value, participating in discussions, offering your own insights. That active reciprocal engagement builds your reputation, visibility, and leads to real connections and opportunities.
Moving beyond just online, the guide also stresses the ongoing importance of participating in in-person social events for networking.
Real-world connections.
It lists several key types. Industry conferences and exhibitions, fantastic for learning the latest, meeting pros from many companies. University alumni gatherings and networking events, crucial for connecting with people who've walked your path, can offer advice, leads. Actively participating in professional associations, student organizations in your field, another great way to meet like-minded people, expand knowledge, build your network. And even things like volunteer opportunities, community service, surprisingly. These can lead to valuable connections with diverse people who might offer unexpected insights or opportunities.
The sheer breadth of those suggestions really underlines that networking happens everywhere, formal and informal.
Yeah.
It's about having an open mindset, being receptive to meeting people and building genuine relationships wherever you are, not just at designated networking events. Those informal chats can often lead to the most valuable connections later on. You never know.
Finally, this section focuses specifically on the power of referrals and leveraging university alumni resources.
Oh, referrals are huge.
Huge. The guide strongly encourages reaching out proactively to alumni working in fields or companies you're interested in. Not just asking for a job, but seeking career advice, insider insights, learning about their path. People often really want to help students from their alma mater.
It's true. There's often a connection there.
It also explains the importance of politely, strategically asking for internal referrals when appropriate after you've built a real connection. An internal referral can significantly boost your chances of getting noticed, getting that first interview.
Definitely gets your resume looked at.
For sure. Plus, attend industry sharing sessions, often organized by alumni. Great for insider perspectives. And lastly, it highlights using university alumni databases. Powerful tool for finding alumni at specific target companies or in roles you aspire to. Don't underestimate your alumni network. It's a built-in resource.
That strong emphasis on using alumni resources and strategically seeking referrals is key. Alumni networks are often underused, but incredibly powerful for support, guidance, opportunities. Don't hesitate to reach out to alumni whose careers interest you. Most are genuinely happy to share experiences, offer advice, maybe even open doors you wouldn't otherwise have access to. And yeah, a strong internal referral can make a massive difference in a competitive hiring process.
Okay, let's shift focus now to getting that crucial first professional foothold, effective internship strategies, and finding opportunities.
Internships are vital.
Absolutely. The New World Education Center's guide dedicates a good chunk to this, highlighting how vital internships are. Not just for gaining practical real-world experience, but also as a potential pathway to full-time job offers after graduation,
Yeah.
often the bridge between school and career.
Internships are indeed often seen as that critical stepping stone for international students launching careers in the U.S. They give you invaluable hands-on experience, let you apply classroom knowledge to real projects, and maybe most importantly, significantly boost your resume and let you demonstrate your skills and potential to future employers. The guide helpfully breaks down the different types of internships you might encounter. First, paid internships.
The ideal, maybe?
Often, yeah. Typically offered by larger companies, especially in tech, finance, consulting, they come with competitive salaries or stipends. Experience plus financial compensation.
That's definitely desirable, experience plus support. But the guide also mentions academic credit internships. Opportunities where you can earn academic credit toward your degree for the work you do can be a great way to fulfill academic requirements while getting professional experience. Integrates practical learning right into your curriculum.
Exactly. An academic credit internship can be very efficient. Your work contributes to your degree and gives you real-world experience simultaneously. Then the guide addresses unpaid internships.
Ah, the controversial one sometimes.
And B. More common in nonprofits, smaller startups, government agencies. While they don't offer pay, the guide rightly emphasizes their value in gaining crucial experience, developing skills, and importantly, expanding your network. So don't automatically dismiss an unpaid internship if it aligns strongly with your goals and offers unique learning or networking opportunities that could benefit you hugely long-term.
That's a really important point. Sometimes the quality of the experience in an unpaid role passion project, unique learning, access to influential people can be more valuable long-term than pay in a less relevant role.
Absolutely.
The guide also discusses remote internships, which have obviously exploded recently.
Much more common now.
They offer flexibility, make it easier to balance internship work with classes, other commitments, no need to relocate physically.
The rise of remote internships has definitely opened up more opportunities, letting students gain experience with companies anywhere without the cost and hassle of moving. Especially helpful if you have visa constraints or prefer to stay near campus, expands the pool a lot.
Okay, so where do you actually find these internships? The guide gets practical here.
Good. Where to look?
Lists several key channels. Unsurprisingly, university job boards and career centers are primary resources, tailored to students, often postings from companies specifically recruiting from your school.
Start there.
General job platforms like Handshake, often university-linked. Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor Essential 2, vast number of postings across all industries. It also highlights specialized internship programs like Year Up and Inroads, often focused on providing opportunities for students from underrepresented backgrounds, offering unique pathways.
Those specialized programs like Year Up, Inroads can be incredible. Often offer structured placements, mentorship, training, support. Definitely worth researching if you might be eligible. Can be a major career boost.
The guide also points to industry-specific platforms, gives examples like WellFound, formerly AngelList, for startups, built-in for tech. Niche platforms can be great for finding specialized opportunities.
Good tip.
And finally, don't overlook the direct approach. Checking the career pages of individual companies you're interested in. Many, especially larger ones, post internships directly on their own sites, sometimes not elsewhere.
That direct approach, checking company career pages regularly, is often overlooked, but can be really effective, especially for your target companies. Shows proactive interest too.
Now, how do you boost your competitiveness for these internships? The guide offers several actionable tips.
Okay, how to stand out.
Strongly recommends participating in relevant extracurricular projects, student competitions, hackathons. Develops skills, shows initiative, teamwork, practical application beyond class.
Shows you go the extra mile.
Building a personal portfolio or project showcase, especially for creative technical fields like CS or engineering, tangible proof of your abilities. Getting relevant skill certifications validates your expertise.
That's credibility.
And finally, the often underappreciated value of volunteer work, community service. Shows commitment, collaboration, well-roundedness.
These are all excellent ways to go beyond coursework, Provide tangible evidence of skills, passion, initiative, strong portfolio, project participation, certifications. They really make an application pop for recruiters.
When it comes to the application process itself, the guide repeats that critical point. Start preparing and applying well in advance, 8 to 10 months prior, especially for competitive roles.
I can say it enough.
It stresses tailoring your resume and cover letter to each specific company and role. Generic applications just don't cut it.
No chance, really.
Thorough prep for any industry-specific technical interviews or assessments is crucial, especially in STEM. And a practical reminder, fully understand any visa restrictions and work permit requirements related to internships, especially if considering opportunities outside standard CPT/OPT rules. Need that work authorization.
That point about understanding visa rules is particularly important. Make absolutely sure you're clear on what your F1 status allows for work. Don't hesitate to ask your university's International Student Office if you have any questions about CPT/OPT eligibility or regulations. Compliance is absolutely essential.
Okay, as you move through your studies and job search, adopting a long-term mindset about your career development is vital.
The marathon, not the sprint.
Exactly. The guide dedicates a whole section to this, reminding us that building a successful career takes sustained effort, resilience. Cultivating this long view helps navigate the inevitable ups and downs.
That long-term perspective is crucial for sustained success here. The guide wisely starts with the importance of the right mindset. You need to be mentally ready for rejections. They're normal, unavoidable in a competitive search. Cultivate perseverance, resilience.
Easier said than done sometimes, but yeah.
True. It also encourages reframing language and cultural challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for personal and professional growth. Understand that real career success takes time, dedication, patience. And finally, set realistic short-term and long-term goals. Gives direction, milestones, a way to measure progress. Proactive goal setting is fundamental.
That reframing challenges as growth opportunities, that's such an important perspective shift.
It really is.
Choosing a positive, resilient attitude, viewing setbacks as learning experiences that make you stronger, more adaptable. The guide also emphasizes the ongoing need for continuous skill enhancement throughout your career.
Lifelong learning, basically.
Well, exactly. The landscape is always changing. Stay informed on industry trends, emerging tech, best practices. Actively pursue professional certifications, continuing ed, workshops to keep skills sharp, relevant, in demand. And don't underestimate developing soft skills. Communication, leadership, teamwork, problem solving, increasingly valued everywhere. For technical folks, participating in open source projects, independent development, outside work school, fantastic way to hone skills, build a portfolio, show passion, initiative.
The idea of continuous learning is paramount today. Resting on your degree skills isn't enough anymore. Staying ahead by proactively getting new knowledge, skills, adapting to tech is essential for relevance and advancement. That commitment sets you apart.
In terms of proactive career planning, the guide advises developing a clear 3 to 5 year plan with specific goals.
Where do you want to be?
Right. Where do you realistically see yourself? What steps do you need to take now to get there? Researching typical promotion paths in your industry, understanding the skills and experience needed for advancement, crucial for informed decisions, strategic positioning.
Know the latter.
The guide also prompts you to consider global opportunities beyond the U.S., back home, other international markets. And finally, it repeats the importance of consistently building and nurturing a long-term professional network. Those connections remain valuable throughout your entire career. Network maintenance matters.
Thinking strategically, planning long-term, that's what distinguishes successful professionals. Considering global options, consistently nurturing your network, both part of a forward-thinking strategy that opens doors you might not even imagine. Proactive steps are an investment in your future.
Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of actually landing the job. Interview skills and preparation.
Okay, the crucial final stage.
Definitely. The guide provides essential, actionable advice on how to excel in interviews, often the make or break point in the hiring process. Effectively communicating your skills and experience here is everything.
Developing effective interview skills is critical. The guide rightly starts with pre-interview prep. This means deep research on the company, its history, mission, values, recent news, and especially the specific requirements in the job description. Know who you're talking to.
Homework is key.
Absolutely. It also introduces the STAR method situation: task, action, result.
Ah, yes, STAR. Very useful.
Super useful. A structured way to prepare compelling examples from your past experiences, academic, work, extracurricular, to showcase relevant skills and achievements. Mastering Star lets you give clear, concise answers backed by concrete evidence, not just vague claims.
The STAR method really is a game changer. Simple structure, big impact, helps you provide specifics, quantifiable results. The guide also stresses practicing answers to common interview questions.
Practice, practice, practice.
Build confidence, reduces anxiety, helps you articulate thoughts clearly, concisely, fluently. And for online interviews, which are so common now, it advises meticulously testing your tech beforehand. Stable internet, working panoramic, familiar with the platform.
Avoid tech fails.
Prepare your environment to professional background, free from distractions. Handling these logistics shows professionalism, avoids glitches that hurt your performance.
That emphasis on tech prep for online interviews is so crucial now. Reliable connection, good panoramic, professional background, they significantly impact the impression you make. Shows you're prepared.
Now, the guide also thoughtfully touches on understanding potential cultural differences in interviews.
Ah, yes. Important for international students.
It highlights a potential contrast. American interview culture often emphasizes actively selling yourself, confidently highlighting achievements.
Right, be confident.
Whereas some other cultures might value humility more. The guide advises a balanced approach. Be confident, showcase skills, but stay professional and respectful. It also explains the importance of appropriate eye contact in U.S. culture shows confidence, engagement, sincerity.
Nonverbal cues matter.
Answer questions clearly, directly. Avoid vague or ambiguous language. And finally, prepare thoughtful questions to ask the interviewer at the end. Shows genuine interest in the company, the role, their perspective. Leaves a strong, positive impression. Shows you're engaged.
Understanding those cultural nuances in communication and expectations is key. Being aware helps you tailor your style to resonate better with U.S. interviewers, avoid misunderstandings. It's about finding that balance, confidently presenting qualifications while showing respect within the cultural context.
When it comes to language skills, the guide offers practical tips if you're worried about interviewing in English.
Good. Practical advice is needed here.
Suggests speaking slightly slower, more deliberately, ensures clear articulation, helps the interviewer understand. Use concise, straightforward language. Avoid overly complex sentences or idioms you're not totally comfortable with. Clarity over complexity.
Smart.
Importantly, feel comfortable asking for clarification if you don't understand a question. Better to ask than guess and give a wrong answer.
Absolutely. No shame in asking.
And finally, remember to highlight your bilingual, multilingual abilities and cross-cultural communication skills as valuable assets. These are increasingly sought after.
Those language tips are incredibly practical, help ease anxiety. Remember, speaking more than one language is a strength, a valuable asset in today's global market. Focus on clear, confident communication, even with an accent.
Finally, on interviews, the guide stresses how to highlight your unique international advantages.
Turning it into a positive.
Exactly. Explicitly emphasize your cross-cultural competencies, adaptability, global perspective. Show you thrive in diverse settings highly valued by U.S. companies. Explain how your background brings unique perspectives, insights, problem-solving approaches to the team. Share specific examples of successful cross-cultural collaborations or projects. Frame your international experience not as a hurdle, but as a distinct competitive advantage that sets you apart.
Effectively framing your international background as a strength is crucial. Employers increasingly want people with diverse perspectives, global awareness, cross-cultural collaboration skills. Be ready to articulate how your experience provides valuable skills that benefit them.
Okay, to help with all this, the guide provides a great overview of practical resources and tools. Let's explore some of these. Knowing where to get support is critical. These resources can be incredibly valuable assets throughout the whole process. The guide rightly points to support available right on campus, career centers, resume cover letter review, mock interviews, career counseling. Use them.
Definitely. Free help.
International Student Services offices. Expert guidance on visa and work permit issues specific to you. Absolutely crucial. University alumni networks, internal job posting systems can provide access to unadvertised opportunities. And your academic advisors, faculty mentors can offer insights, advice, connections in your specific field. Using these campus resources really boosts your chances.
It's amazing how much is often right there on campus if you just look and ask. The guide also highlights essential online resources for job internship searching. LinkedIn, Indeed, Handshake, Glassdoor, etc. The big platforms.
Standard tools, yeah.
For navigating U.S. visas, the official USCIS website, plus helpful info sites like My Visa Jobs, H-1B database for data and insights.
Good for research.
For industry insights, company culture, reviews, Vault, Glassdoor Blind can be invaluable, and for skill development. Online learning like Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy offer vast courses in almost anything.
This curated list of online resources is an excellent starting point. Using them effectively streamlines your search, provides essential info, helps you find relevant opportunities. Get familiar with these tools.
Finally, the guide underscores the often overlooked importance of community support networks.
Finding your people.
Exactly. It highlights industry-specific Chinese professional communities, online forums. Connect with others in your field with similar backgrounds, experiences. Leveraging Sheng, overseas student WeChat or Discord groups, can be fantastic for peer support, sharing info, exchanging experiences about job search, life in the U.S.
Peer support is huge.
Consider joining student chapters of professional associations related to your major networking, mentorship, and connecting with regional Chinese professional organizations where you study or want to work in valuable networking, mentorship beyond campus. A strong support network makes a huge difference.
Building that supportive community around you can make a massive difference navigating job search challenges and adapting to a new environment. Don't underestimate the power and comfort of connecting with others who share similar experiences, understand your unique challenges, and can offer practical advice and emotional support. These community connections are invaluable.
Okay, to wrap up our deep dive, the guide addresses some common questions international students have about the U.S. job search. Let's hit a few key ones, one that comes up constantly. Should I do a bachelor's or go straight for a master's? Big decision.
And as the guide says, the best choice is really individualized. Depends on your finances, time, career goals. Bachelor's gives a solid foundation, quicker workforce entry. Master's offers deeper specialization, potentially higher competitiveness and pay, especially in fields like business, engineering, science.
Right.
And always remember that STEM major factor for longer OPT can be a huge advantage. No single right answer. Depends on you.
Another big one. When's the best time to start applying for internships jobs? Timing is everything. Starting too late hurts.
For summer internships, start applying way earlier than you think, September, October of the previous year, especially for competitive ones at big companies.
Wow, yeah.
For full-time jobs post-graduation, start applying 6-9 months before you graduate. Aligns with hiring cycles, gives you time. And for OPT, submit your application about 90 days before graduation to get that work authorization processed smoothly. Stay ahead of these timelines.
Many students worry. How do I get my first job with no U.S. work experience? The catch-22 feeling.
The guide offers practical tips. Gain any relevant experience on-campus jobs, volunteering, projects, participate in competitions, leverage course projects for a portfolio. Show what you can do. Consider entry-level roles at smaller companies or startups might be more accessible. Offer broad learning early on. Be proactive. Highlight the skills and experiences you do have.
Visa issues are always a concern. How do I handle the impact of visa issues on my job search? Critical question.
Be proactive. Ask potential employers early on about their H-1B sponsorship history and willingness. Be transparent about your OPT-CPT status on resumes and in applications. Maybe focus efforts on industries companies known to be more open to sponsoring international students. And, we repeat, consult professional immigration lawyers for the latest policies and personalized advice. Absolutely essential.
Finally, a common concern. How can I stand out in interviews if my English isn't perfect? Valid worry.
It is. Best approach. Thorough preparation. Practice answers repeatedly, focus on clarity, use language you're comfortable with, builds fluency, reduces anxiety. Focus on showcasing your technical skills, experience, knowledge, often the main evaluation points.
Emphasize your strength.
Exactly. Emphasize your unique cross-cultural experiences, adaptability, problem-solving skills. These are assets. Be honest about language, ask for clarification if needed, no shame in that. And most importantly, remember your international background is a competitive advantage. Be confident, believe in your skills, persevere. Your diverse background is a strength.
So, as we wrap up this incredibly detailed deep dive into the New World Education Center's guide, let's quickly recap the key stages. We started with professional choice, academic planning, then hit identity planning and U.S. immigration rules. Mapped out the job search timeline, stressed networking and internship strategies, discussed the long-term mindset and continuous development, and finally covered interview skills and pointed you to practical resources.
Indeed. We've covered a lot of critical ground. From laying the academic foundation and navigating immigration complexities to mastering networking, internships, and interviews, plus that crucial long-term view. This guide really provides a comprehensive foundation.
And now for our final thought for you, our listener. Reflect on everything we discussed today. Which specific area stands out as needing your immediate attention right now?
What's your next step?
Maybe it's finally building out that LinkedIn profile or starting research on companies in your field that hire interns. Whatever it is for you, the crucial thing is to start taking concrete action today. Proactively addressing these key parts of the job search, armed with the insights for this New World Education Center guide, is the fundamental key to unlocking your career potential here. This guide is a powerful foundation for your journey, and your proactive engagement starts now.